What's up, everybody? It's Carpo here. How's it going today? Well, this will probably be the last video I make pertaining to this particular subject, and I'm not going to be political in it. I have solutions that I'm going to present to our current problem, or what we might call a crisis, but is really just the progression, rather, I wouldn't call it progress, of a country who has had a rocky past, as well as all of them have. And during all these discussions that we've had about Trump and Clinton and the whole political atmosphere, we should all know, if you're not aware of this already, your vote does not count. It really doesn't matter what you think when you vote in the elections. Now, this is because of the Electoral College. Now, if you're not aware of the Electoral College, you should damn well be aware of it. It's a major issue. It's one of the biggest problems we have with the voting system. I looked up the statistics to see how much you can actually get away with and how little you can get away with the popular vote. Because I found out during the Bush election, when he lost the popular vote but won the election, that's when people started to wake up to what was going on. Now, the Electoral College was created back in the times when they had to ride on horseback, and they would have representatives who would ride on horseback to go in and vote for the president. Nowadays, we have instant communication. The Electoral College should not exist. It should be completely abolished. And that's my first step. And what I did was I wrote down 10 points, 10 things which I think will improve our country vastly. And the first one would be open caucuses, open primaries to everyone in every state. There are places in many states where you cannot vote, or change your vote rather. If you're registered as a Democrat, you cannot vote as an independent or as a Republican. You're forced to be trapped into that, and that's a huge issue for people. In my belief that you should be able to go in to a primary and vote for whoever you want, regardless. But does that matter when the delegates are who really decide? We'll get to that. So the first one would be, obviously, open primaries, and anyone can vote for whoever they want in the primaries. Second one, popular vote should always determine who is the president. If there's a discrepancy or if it's very close, there may be an issue. But back in the day, we were talking about recounts of votes, and then it ended up not mattering anyway because they were able to take Florida. So popular vote should damn well count for something, because the number I found out when I was looking into it was disturbing. A person can win the presidential election with only 22% of the popular vote. That means 78% of you can vote against someone and he can still win by having the popular vote, by having the delegates vote for him. That blows my mind. My third thing here is Citizens United has to go. They're the ones who created corporate fund, allowed corporations to basically act as people, and therefore have the same say in politics as people. And we do not want corporations posing as people. I find that appalling. I respect progress, I respect capitalism for what it is. It creates innovation, jobs, it's great, but no, corporations should not be people, and that has to be abolished instantly. And the fourth thing, public funded elections. Nobody should be able to get funding from corporations, and it should be publicly funded with equal time. If anything, if the media is going to exist as corrupt as they are, they should be obligated to give equal airtime to both people and make it fair. Should not be biased, because the media has an obligation to the people. Just like a pharmacy or a pharmaceutical company, if they make a bad drug, they have to recall it. Well, the media doesn't recall their bad news. So they owe it to us to allow the public funding to fund the airwave time for equal candidates. My fifth thing here is, it's really just a kind of a suggestion to people. Vote in your local elections. Your representatives are who matter. I believe the House of Representatives, I think, has 332 people. Is that right? 232 people, or 232 maybe. And then there's 100 in the Senate, so it's like 332 or 432, something like that total. And these are the people who represent you. These are the people who we vote into office. If we ignore our local elections, and I'm guilty, God knows I've spent too many years being passive about local elections, and it's mainly because I'm frustrated with the system. But I'm waking up in a new way, not waking up to the fact that voting doesn't matter, but waking up to where it does matter and where we need to put our energy instead of wasting it on arguing about who's going to be president, because ultimately it's just a figurehead position. Who responds to Congress? Congress makes the decisions, and those are who you vote in. So vote local. My sixth thing is the delegates must vote with the people. If we are going to keep delegates, they must vote with the people. And that means, because the delegates are the ones that leave your state and go and actually decide in the primaries who's going to be the candidate. So they must vote with the will of the people. Otherwise it makes absolutely no sense. And right at this point, the people really don't have any say in this country. It's not a democracy. The people do not get to speak their minds. It's frustrating. It is. So the delegates have to vote with their local constituents and who they're voting for. That should be the whole point. Seventh thing, superdelegates gone. No more superdelegates. They have way too much power to sway votes. And I see no reason superdelegates should exist. If anyone can explain to me why a superdelegates should be part of the system, please do. Number 8, corporations are not people, and they should be not labeled as such. That should be eliminated. And that's kind of a duplicate, but it's separate from Citizens United. Corporations have always wanted to be represented as people, and they should not have that kind of say. Number 9, allow bipartisan. If people want to be bipartisan, if they want to have a two-party system, let them. The people are choosing their representatives. And if they want to choose Democrats or Republicans, fine, because we are a nation, and that's free choice. However, independents need to be treated equally in all aspects and regards. They need to have equal access, equal funding, equal freedom to get in and get the votes that they need, and the people need the freedom to vote for who they want. And the last thing, which really isn't related to politics, but it's the one law that I would enact if I had the choice, is to force all the banks to repay the loans that we paid them because they made bad loans and screwed a bunch of people over. And then after we bailed them out with quantitative easing, in case you're not aware of what's going on, this whole thing is the whole crisis of 2008 was supposedly solved by quantitative easing, which is printing basically money out of thin air and putting it out. And the banks that we bailed out never repaid a dime, and the next year they were back to giving $1 million bonuses to their people. That is wrong. And you'll notice none of those rules, those are all political ideas that I have. Not anything specifically like laws or saying we should build a big military, because this is the whole point. The representatives are the ones who make those decisions. We have to trust that they're making the right decisions. We can't complain about war. We can't stop. Even with this whole kratom ban that happened, we realized it was our representatives we had to talk to. You can write the DEA all you want, but unless you actually get your representatives to care, it doesn't matter. So the people need to wake up to speaking out and letting people know how they feel, and doing it in the right places, not on social media and complaining specifically about things that we can't do anything, but talk to the people that represent you. And if the banks were able to, if they would put money back in that they were bailed out, that could help to fund some of these campaign finance reform laws and to fund a public group of citizens that can monitor these things and keep an eye on it and become a better nation and stronger because of it. Popular vote needs to count, and we need to matter. So those are my words. So talk to y'all.